So, all right. So, ways to plot. There are as many of these as there are authors out there. Every book that you read will give their own suggestion on it. I'm going to go down a few of the ones that a lot of authors use, and you can try them out, okay? So we're going to try, I'll just list a few of them up here, and if there are others that people know, we can talk about those too. So we've got the points on the map. We've got the 3-act. We've got horses, cars, mice. We've got try-fail. What other plot suggestions have you guys heard of? You know any more? Some might occur to me. Let's just start going through these, and if we don't hit what yours is, we can talk about it. So, points on the map. More and more, I see a lot of writers in the genre talking about the points on the map methodology for developing a story. Points on the map methodology is the idea that your plot basically is, you know you're starting, say, in San Francisco, and you know that you're going to DC. And so, and this is a metaphor, guys. This isn't necessarily in travelogue. Or it means you know you're starting with two people who hate each other, and you're ending with two people who are in love with one another. And so you've got your big P plot, and the way that you fill that in is just by adding points along that you're like, well, let's go visit this place, and this place, and we'll develop our story that way. And then I'll write toward this one. For instance, okay, my first on that sort of romance thing, my first point along the way is I want them to like really get under each other's skin. They're trapped together for something. They're like trapped in an elevator, and they just drive each other crazy. Or, you know, that's probably the wrong place. The elevator scene would be better over here. So if we're actually doing one of these, you'd say, okay, something he does completely messes up like her big presentation because of his personality. So we establish that they're really under each other's skin. So you say, I know I'm going to write there. And you sit down and you start writing your story from here to here. And that's all you have to do at that point. And then your next point on the plot map is, okay, you know, they have to pretend to like each other because, you know, her sister has decided they're a couple and she's got cancer, and so they don't want to make her mad. Or, you know, she's got a heart condition, that's even better. They don't want to upset her. So they have to pretend to be a couple for whatever reason. You know, this happens in romantic comedies and sort of stuff. And so we're going to write toward this, toward them having to go at this event, to this fancy event where they're pretending to like each other. And how are we going to get there? Next point on the map, they're trapped in an elevator together, and they start to realize that they actually do like one another. Right here, something big problem happens that drives them apart for some reason that we can't explain. Well, we have to be able to explain, but you know, it's whatever, every romantic comedy. What's that?
But it's usually ridiculous.
It's usually ridiculous, yes. Ridiculous reason they are forced apart, and then dramatic conclusion, okay? So the idea behind the points on the map philosophy is that you will imagine powerful scenes that happen in your story that you want to be there. You will put them in order, and you will basically act like a discovery writer, except that you have like 6 things in your plot you know you need to get to, and you just work toward each one in turn. This is a great way for a discovery writer to try out outlining and seeing if injecting like 5% or 10% of an outliner into their veins will help them write a better story. It's best to do this if you come up with these things ahead of time. But if you don't, you really can just say, okay, here's my first one along the way. This is going to, you know, fulfill the promises that I made in a certain this certain way, and I'm going to write toward it. Then I write toward the next one, and we just go like that. All right. Questions about points on the map? Pretty easy way of plotting. Your outline is 6 items in this case, right? We start here, we end here, and here are 4 cool scenes in between. If you want to think more like Hollywood, you will use the 3-act format. I am not fantastic with the 3-act format. Let me put that up front to you. don't use it. I understand it to an extent. If you want to get good at the 3-act format, there are a lot of resources online, and there are a lot of books that have been written about doing it. But basically, you've got your 3 acts. You've got, and various people define these various ways, but you've got inactive, introduction, where the character has not, is living their life, and you're showing who they are, and things start to go wrong. You've got a call to action, which is kind of lifted from the idea of the hero's journey. There's something that forces them. So this is the, things get worse. Though we are trying to make them better. And then you've kind of got the really take control. Oh no, that's not what it is. It is the low point. In between Act 2 and Act 3 is something goes horribly wrong. Like you're trying, you come up with something, and then you try it, and it makes everything worse. And then you kind of have the dramatic conclusion. Right? And so you can kind of view this from various sort of film things. And again, people argue on what these will be, but you can have, your intro for your romantic comedies. We're introducing our 2 characters, and they kind of, they rub each other the wrong way. The call to action is, for some reason, they are forced together. We're not sure why. Or one realizes that they like the other, and they're going to try and make this work. And then in this one, they spend time together, but by the end, something horrible happens, and then we have a dramatic conclusion. But you can also do it for an action movie. Let's do this for the first Star Wars movie. So you've got Luke as a person. He's on his planet. There's a call to action. His parents / uncle and aunt are killed, and he's towed off on this journey. They try some things out, but then, oh no, they actually have some successes, but oh no, now they're going to blow up our base. We've got a last-ditch chance to succeed. It's often best if you can find a way to make a low point the hero's fault, but it doesn't always happen that way. Okay? You can read a lot about 3-act format. It is a good way of visualizing a story. I don't like it because a lot of the Hollywood things I read tend to put things into boxes that are too strict. That's really important for a screenplay where you have a set length that you're working in, and your screenplay basically has to be between 90 and 114 pages, and you don't have room to wiggle in that. That's it. You can't be shorter than 90, you can't be longer than 114, or whatever it is. And because of that, they tend to come up with a lot of sort of, on this page you have this, and on this page you have this, and that sort of thing. Novels, we're much more freeform, and so while thinking in 3-act format can be very nice, I don't end up using it that much.
Are the 3 acts of equal length?
No, Act 3 is the short one.
And
Act 2 is the long one.
Okay.
Yeah. Act 1 and 3 are shorter than Act 2. Is anyone else taking screenplay classes that can explain any of this in a better way than I did?
You can explain it however you want.
Yeah.
It's,
How is it
I use
explained
Save
to
the
you?
Cat mostly.
What's that?
I use Save the Cat mostly.
Okay.
So it has a bunch more points, but that's basically it. The low point is point of All Is Lost, Dark Night of the Soul.
Mm-hmm. So Save the Cat, is that like a storytelling structure?
Save the Cat is in the introduction, you have
Yeah.
to do something with your main character that makes us care and like them.
Right.
Superman saves
Yeah.
the cat from the
Yeah,
tree.
and the villain kicks a dog, right?
Yes.
Hero says
Yep.
the cat, villain kicks the dog. Yeah, I've read about that one before, yeah.
But yeah, the third act can be really long in some things.
It can.
But I hate long third acts. I like what you say. And 110 pages is usually what this is, third act, 3 act structure is based on. So.
Yeah.
And 90 to 114 is exactly true.
Is it? I wasn't sure on the 114.
115 is too long.
Okay.
114, you're okay.
So there you are. That's how it goes. Screenwriters are very creative and people who know their craft, but they are forced into some boxes. by Hollywood that we don't have to necessarily be forced into. But anyway, so read about 3-act format. I know some people really like it. It can help you visualize your story quite a bit. Okay? So if I were writing a 3-act format outline, I would write Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. What things do I need to have happen in Act 1? What's my turning point between Act 1 and Act 2? What's the call to action or the indication that things are going to change? I think that's another way people call the transition is things are normal. The transition between Act 1 and Act 2 is where things change dramatically. I heard it described once as, Act 1 is we get to know the hero. The turning point is they get chased up a tree. Act 2 is we throw rocks at the person in the tree. The turning point between Act 2 and Act 3 is the tree starts to fall over and there's a bunch of tigers at the bottom. And then Act 3 is how they survive.